Namaste, my name is Sanat Kumar. Welcome back to the Manana Podcast. Manana is a Sanskrit word that means reflection or contemplation. In this podcast, I'll be sharing my deep, insightful reflections for you to contemplate and hence live a life of fulfillment. I hope you find great value in today's episode. As I mentioned in the episode, A Life Compass, this is also one of the concepts that can act as a guide in your life. It definitely helps in your decision making process. There are two concepts here. One, life in caps, that is LIFE in capital letters, and the second concept is union versus alignment. So let's start with the first one, life in caps. This idea or concept or philosophy has helped me a lot in my decision making process. It was through intuition, of course, that brought this concept into my life. I wasn't aware of it in these actual words, but I was aware. What is life in caps, I will tell you soon, but whenever I mention life, it is in capital letters. This intuition was the byproduct of the other two truths I had already realized. One, the flower of fulfillment model, which has been the best tool for decision making in my life. Since I realized that model, I could imagine or intuitively think about the ideal state, the peak state of balance, and then Jnana Yoga / Advaita philosophy is one of the core truths. All suffering is due to ignorance or lack of awareness. This clearly made me see that the ideal state exists. It's the ignorance that has masked our awareness and hence life in caps. And no wonder there's suffering. So what's this life in caps? It is an all good encompassing idea. Of course, this should not be perceived just as an idea, but for now, think life in caps is nature or the natural state, the peak state with balance, or you can call it the universe, the self, the ultimate consciousness, Brahman, whatever you call it. Life seems to suit very well. Do you need shadowless awareness, ultimate health, infinite creativity, and boundless freedom? Life is all that. When I say life, life in caps is all that. And as I said, it is the natural state. All you've got to do is move towards it. Now, non-life is when one is far away from the central node of life, that is, far from life in caps. One can be in non-life mode for years or even lifetimes, but eventually every individual move towards and eventually become union with life in caps. Here I must mention the other concept briefly. Union versus aligned. I believe that's already clear to you. Speaking in terms of spirituality, you might not attain liberation, but you must not abandon the path. One must stay aligned in that direction. One need not be in union but can be aligned all the way along. This brings us tremendous ability to keep going. You do not need any motivation to push you after you realize this simple fact. Many times we break down, feeling not able to reach the ideals we've set for ourselves. We must try to remember this then. We must not reach the ideal, but we'd rather be aligned and be in the journey than be misaligned or directionless, which would also be non-life. Speaking of non-life, one of the most dangerous delusions one can be in is the state where one thinks or says to oneself that he or she is aligned with life, but actually is not. That is the most dangerous place to be. It simply delays one's alignment with life, because first he or she must become aware that what he or she assumed life is not actually life. Then he or she has to seek and align with life. Left to natural course, this may take years or lifetime based on the individual's karma, tendencies, whatever you want to call it, because we know how powerful delusions can be. However, with conscious effort to stay in the light like a bug, you can accelerate this process. You can be deliberate and choose life. And even though the union cannot be guaranteed for every lifetime, alignment can definitely be accomplished. Again, just because this seems too ideal or cliche, please do not neglect or discard this insight. Try it out and see for yourself. Ask yourself this: What thoughts or actions and emotions feel like life to you? Choose and move towards that. I hope you received excellent value in today's episode. To know more, head over to sanatkumarnebi.com, and if you haven't already, check out my book The Flower of Fulfillment. Thank you for listening, and I wish you have a great day.